Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Omar from the Bullish Bears team. It's Saturday, May 20th, 2:40 p.m. And I wanted to make a video building my watch list for Monday and just talk about, just talk about some of the plays that happened yesterday and talk about just things that you should keep in mind when you're looking for stocks to trade, especially if you're looking for a stock you expect to swing. So, right here is my watch list from yesterday, and I had some nice movers that gapped up, some big plays, long and short. And before we go into them, I want to talk about like a sort of a strategy that you should keep in mind, right? So we look at my watch list and we see some of these stocks gapped up crazy, right? Like QHC was up 38%. That was on my watch list. GLCY was up 19%. CCR up 11%. So you're looking at all these and they're like, great. And then you see these stocks that are like gapping down. And you're like, oh, these are duds. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're duds, okay? They're great, just in reverse for shorting, all right? Now, what you should keep in mind is like, look at a stock like this, EXEL, all right? And I got the chart up open. So on Friday, it opened up and, it opened up right here, right above the previous day's close price. And it had this nice rip at the open up to 21.39. And then, okay, you had this sideways consolidation here. So, if you watch my video on like how I short, I made a video the other day how I take shorts. If you look at the 5-day chart, this stock was at $19. It had a nice rip on May 17th, May 18th, right? It went from 1976 and it closed holding its highs all the way to 21 bucks, right? So it's a little overextended. So what happened, right? The market opened, all right? It had this nice little gap up, okay? Now at this point, let's do the drawings. Yeah, they changed all these settings. They just did an upgrade, Thinkorswim, so everything looks different now. So right, so this is the high day at this point, right? And you see the lower high form here. So right here, you could have took your short entry, and just rolled this, looking at using the high of day as your stop. And you see it sort of kind of consolidated, and then look, you have this big gap down. You got the bounce off the previous day's close. That's what this line represents. Gapped up, and so it formed another lower high. So this could have been another entry point for you guys. And look, gap down, broke below it, so it went from green to red, right? That's the green to red play. Bounced above it for a second, right? So you could have took another short entry here, and then it just completely washed all day. It just, look at this. It just collapsed all day. I mean, you could have made a tremendous amount of money shorting this. Now, the reason why I bring this up is like, you go, okay, Omar, well, maybe there's no point in watching this because, whatever, it had its move or whatever. Now, that's not necessarily true. What you should do is when you're looking at stocks and you're looking at charts, right, let's clear this, all right? So I'm going to put up the yearly chart, right? So here's the 1-year chart, all right? So you can see this stock, I wish I would have known about this a year ago, it was at $5 a year ago, and it's been as high as $24.85. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit so it can be easier for you to see it in the video. Now look at this, right? It got from $24.85, which was on May 2nd, and this thing has completely sold off and it found its support at around $21.35, right? $21.38, right? So look at this. So what happened when it sold off and it found its $21.38? It started bouncing up. It had 2 green days. It went from $21.38 to a high of $22.25, right? And then look what happened. The next day it pulled back, right? It pulled back. But look, it still kind of bounced off that close price, right? So this is like new support, and you see it just sideways, sideways, sideways. Formed this bear flag on the yearly, and look, it totally collapsed all the way down to about 1952, right? Now look what happened the next day. It went from 1952 all the way to 2111, and then Friday it went from that 2111. And it hit a low of 1958, and it closed at 1968. So what do I think is going to happen Monday? I think Monday it's going to have a green day, and Monday this probably stock is going to rip all the way back up again because that's what it's showing. That's what it's showing its history. See, so I would probably be looking to see Monday if this thing rips up, especially if the Dow breaks higher and there's no crazy news. It'll probably rip back up again. All right. So you can look now. If it dips below this, it'd be a fantastic short. But if you see that it doesn't dip below, this is a good swing trade. So you can say, hey, you know what? when the market opens, I'm gonna risk 1950, you know, and you know, I'll just put a stop at like maybe 19, maybe just for slippage, put 1948, and then see how far it goes up, you know, and you could take a trade on this Monday, all right. So you know that's a strategy that you should look to when you look at the stocks. You want to see the yearly support and resistance where it's at, like you know GLYC. I mean, it's gone ridiculous, right? It hit a high of 1464. It closed at 1112. I'm sorry, it closed at 1270, but hit a low, right, of 1112, right? So this is sort of the range right now it's in, right? 1126, 1464. Now, when stocks go parabolic like this, it's amazing because they present great shorting opportunities. The best time to short this is when people stop paying so much attention to this. So if this goes Monday, if this goes from green to red, meaning if on Monday, if this dips below 1067, expect all the short sellers to drive this down. So if you can find shares to short, once it goes there, you can short this and hold this. Like if you have a brokerage like Interactive Brokers where they'll let you hold the shares forever, they'll just charge you interest. You can hold this for a few days, and I guarantee you, once it goes red, it's probably going to continue to collapse all the way down. And that's how short sellers make a lot of money because they size in on first red day and they hold. You know, sometimes it'll go red for several days. Like look at this, it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red days in a row. All right, so it has a habit of once it goes has a red day, you know, it tends to hold for multiple days. All right, now if we're looking at the, you know, so I wanted to talk about that because, you know, you should be looking at the yearly to see where stocks are when they're gapping up. Like, for example, RES was a stock on my watch list. Look, it went above, right? So this seemed to be the previous high, 20 bucks. It closed at 2011. So you know what? Maybe it continues up to its next resistance point, which is that 2059 level. All right? This is what you should be doing. Like, kind of getting a sense, you know, it just takes too long. That's why I don't go into these things in every single video. But you should get a range of where the stock is now, where its next resistance level is, where its next support level is. It's important, you know. So if this is 1909, is it support, or right 1907, 1909, around that area, is it support level? Actually 19 low is 1911 actually. I'm a little lower than its support level. But, you know, that's how you can kind of get a range of where the stock is and where it should be. All right? And this thing, you know, had a beautiful day. I mean, it ripped. I mean, not for nothing, I put my watch list up against anybody, any of these gurus that you guys follow, you know, Sykes and all them. My watch lists are much better, I think. I usually have a lot more plays. You know, there's always a stock on my watch list that tends to move. And if you notice, look, when you put what's cool is like if you build your watch list for the following day, you can put your support and resistance levels, okay, on the daily, and look, and they hold up on the chart, which is nice. Okay, so you know what the high was and the low was, you know, the previous day. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. But you know, looking at the plays of the day, QHC was a monster mover. Let me just pull up the chart, and this thing went from 288 all the way to 411. This thing, you know, it ripped. I mean, you know, the volume was choppy, you know, so it was hard, but it rolled the 9 EMA pretty much all day. I mean, there was one point where it dipped below the 9 and the 20, but it continued upward. If you're looking on the 5-minute time frame, which is what I use, so on the 1 minute, just to clarify, folks, watch what I use the 9 and the 20 exponential moving average, all right, VWAP and parabolic SAR, okay. And then I got these lower RSI, MACD, TTM squeeze, right? But I really focus on the patterns more than anything. And then on the 5-minute, just to be clear, all right, you know, I use VWAP, the 13 EMA, TTM squeeze, okay? That's what I use, all right, just so you can see. And look, on the 5-minute, this thing never really broke below the 13 EMA, except for here, this 1 second here, you know? But if you're looking for entry and exits, you know, it's you know, right here, you know, you see flag patterns forming all over the place on this stock. Let me zoom in a little bit. Like on the 1 minute, this would be very choppy. But if I was to make a play, right, and I saw this and I wasn't sure what to do at this point, this is high day. So once it broke high day 310, I would have took a trade on this. You know, same thing here. Like another good entry would have been at around the 330 mark. So you see at 330, you know, this is high day. And if you notice, it's forming this ascending triangle. So here it is, right? Higher day comes down. So when you see that, you start to see that triangle form right here, all right? And you're gonna get a pop, all right? It's a lot. You see it also on the 1 minute. Man, these new settings make it hard. You see it here on the 1 minute as well. You know, it's just that it's very choppy, you know, on the 1 minute. But once you see that, when you get high day and you see that sideways consolidation, and you see that in the end it starts forming the higher lows, you get a pop. That's that Foos Force strategy that he uses. He talks about just ascending triangles. When you see this, you're gonna get a pop, and that was another pop. And if you notice on the 5 minute, it's very clear. There's a bull flag, so this is where you would have got in. Another bull flag, so this is where you got it. You see it bouncing off the 13 EMA. So as long as it's on along 13 EMA, you're good. And remember, I also preach, folks, the trend is your friend, right? So you know, if I'm looking at this, and let me remove all the clear drawings, right? So if I'm looking at this, and let's say I got in here, you know, I'm just riding the trend. You know, as long as the stock rides the daily trend, I'm good. You know, same thing on the 1 minute. I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to zoom in for you guys on the one. But as long as you're in, you know, you just ride the trend, and the trend is your friend. So trend lines are great, you know, both for longing and shorting as well. So it was a great play. On GLYC, you know, the other big play, and after this we'll build our watch list. Let me remove the clear drawing set. All right, this stock started moving pre-market. If you notice here, you know, this thing was active, very active pre-market. What you should always do is you should always make sure you know what the high was pre-market too. It's important to call that out, and it looks like this mark right here. This was the pre-market high of 1207, and then you should find out what the pre-market low was. The pre-market low seems to be right here, 1109. So, you know, you're looking at the high and you're looking at the low, so that when the market opens, you get a sense of that range. So if it breaks below the pre-market low, you could take it short. If it breaks above the pre-market high, you could take it long. And that would have been my entry. So you see that as when the market opened, people who bought pre-market took their profit here because they didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, right? And it kind of, you got all this selling pressure. Remember, guys, I talked about the selling pressure. Now the RSI, it's low. It's oh, I don't know why is this? It's saying, oh, this is not set correctly. I gotta fix this because this is up in the 50s and it's showing that it's not what I wanted to do. Edit RSI, oversold. That's weird. RSI, normal, overbought, oversold. Yeah, so oversold. I'm not sure why I did that, but right here, right, this is where it's oversold, right, dips below 30, and you see you start getting that upward momentum. Now, as you notice the trend here, right, you right here you should put your trend line, because now you know this is new support now at this point, right, 1123, and you see it's bouncing up. Now, what I would have done, I mean, you could have taken a trade and just with this, but this is a low float runner. It only had 8 million shares that's tradable. So the float, the rotation is happening fast, and this stock is moving crazy. You're not sure what to do. So me personally, I probably would have not been comfortable taking a trade here because, you know, I'm not sure if it's just gonna go here and then just kind of go back down. I would have waited till it broke this candle right here of 1252. Once it broke the 1250, so you see it's gapping up. It forms a flag here, and it forms this little bull flag here. You see how it comes across here? At this point, now let me just change this. I hate this change. It's a pain in the ass. Drawing tools. Okay, so let me remove all this just so you can see the pattern. So clear drawing set. All right. So now, if you notice, right, you have the gap up. You have this pullback, sort of a bull flag here, and then you get this little gap up, right, and it's going above VWAP and the exponential moving averages. So that's good. That's a bullish sign. But if you notice here, it has this sideways consolidation right here, right? And if you notice, you take this, you're getting this little, you know, triangle formation. This is called like a flat top breakout. So when you see stock go like this sideways, you're gonna get a pop, and that's what happened. And this would have been my entry right in here. I would have took this up, and I would have just had this trend line just going taking this up because you don't know what the fuck is gonna happen with this. When you got a low float runner like this, it's very dangerous to trade. But if you notice here, right, you had the gap up, pull back, you had the gap up, you had another, let me zoom in more. You had the second gap up, you had the pull back, you had the last push, and then the wash. just like I talk about all my momentum trades. All right. Now, if you were watching this and you know how I love to use my shorting strategy, right? Once you have the second pop, I would have been in, but I would have been really scared to hold. I would have been in and out quickly because I know usually you get one, two, one last push, and then the wash. Now, what I would have been doing is, when a stock goes like this, it could continue. Shorts. The reason why this is ripping is that short sellers continue. They're just continuously getting squeezed. They're covering because they anticipate the stock not to move, but there's more buyers than sellers, so it's driving the price of the stock down. All right. Now, if you watch this, let's remove this. So let's clear drawing set. As a short seller, this is what I love to do. All right. And I buy long too. I long and short, but I feel more. I think shorting is safer, believe it or not, and that contradicts what a lot of people will tell you. They will tell you that I'm crazy saying this, but I'm showing you why. I'm trying to prove my thesis, which is, so when you see a stock rip, you know you're gonna get a reversal, right? But you don't know when, especially low float. That's where you gotta be real careful. And generally, I don't recommend you short these when they're running. You should short them really the first day they go from green to red, meaning they dip below the previous day's close price. But if you were to take a risk on this, you go, okay, boom, here's high day. And you always, when you get that high, you're going to notice that most of the time the candle is like this. It looks like it's an indecision wick candle. So at this point, you're like, all right, I'm putting my trend line, the high day. And then, boom, you see how the next candle hits the 9 EMA and then bounces up? So you put that trend line. Right in here is where I would have shorted. And I would have took it risking 1464. I would have had a stop already there to make sure that if it goes above it, that I cover quick, because this stock gapped up fast. But had you done that, look, you got that second candle which formed the lower high. It kind of consolidates. It gets a little bit of volume here, but not a lot. Look, more selling pressure than it is buying. So it bounces off that, and look, this thing washed. Look, it came down. It formed this. Now this is called a bear flag. You see how it flags this way? It's a bear flag. Instead of a bull flag, it's a bear flag. So right in there, oh shit, this shit's gonna collapse some more. And you could have sized it and took more shares to short. But theoretically, let me move this, move drawing. Right here, all right, you could have took your lower high here. You could have took another entry in, and look, gap down, bounced up, another lower high. You could have took another entry here, risking the previous lower high. And then here, look, another lower high. And it just kept down, another lower high here. All right, so there was a lot of entries here to short, risking the previous lower high. All right, and then it kind of came back up, so that's a strategy. Look, and then it kind of went on this channel for a while. So it was in this channel forming, and if you watched it all day, and then it kind of broke above the previous lower high for a second. But once you see that happening, it's gonna gap up, and it formed this head and shoulders pattern. Look, it has up, comes down. So this is the shoulder, right? This is like the arm, the shoulder, the head, the shoulder, and then boom, down. See, right here, you could have short. That's why I got so much selling pressure here. People saw the pattern form. Let me remove all this. Remove all drawings. Ah, crap. Remove old drawing. No, remove all drawings. Clear drawing set. Okay, that's what I want to see. So you see, look at the clear head and shoulders pattern right here. Look at that. Right, shoulder, head, shoulder, collapse. All right. So people shorted it again because they saw the pattern forming, and then it kind of gapped up into the close, and it's very volatile. This is gonna be my watch list Monday for sure. I mean, it's gonna stay on my watch list as long as it's volatile. But that's how you look at stocks. So you had your entries long and you had your entries short. So this was the long entry. Remember, it gaps up, pulls back. Right here's your entry. Gaps up, pulls back. Right here's your entry. But remember, you're gonna get a wash, so you gotta be careful. You see this? Sell. Get the fuck out. And then you get the higher day right here, lower high, risking higher day, boom, and then short. You short it and just take it down. Take that bad boy down. That's what you want to look for. The setups, the patterns, guys. When you don't see patterns, okay, you don't trade. Don't trade something that you don't know what the hell it's gonna do. Like this is up 11%, but I wouldn't know where to take an entry on this stock like this. Look at this, it's choppy. I wouldn't trade this. How the hell would I know it again? There's no clear pattern for me. You gotta see the patterns forming. All right, you gotta see the patterns forming when you take a trade. Like here, you see gap up, Pullback. People bought in right here. Why? Because it's a bull flag. It bounced off the 13 EMA. Same thing here. See, gaps up, pulls back, boom, gets in. Gaps up, pull back, boom, people get in because they see the patterns forming on the 1 minute. Gaps up, pulls back, hits the 20 EMA. It's a bull flag, but it comes back, so it bounces. Bull flag, bounces, you know, and it's very choppy, but no volume. But that's what it is. You gotta see the pattern. If you don't see the patterns, don't make the trades, guys. You know, don't just jump in a stock if you're not sure what it's doing. All right, and you know that's what you see here. You get a lot of sell-offs. Just trying to look to see, you know, see anything here. Now this is, you know, this is very choppy, but you see how you get the sell-off, you get the bounce, and you get a big sell-off, and then you get that huge bounce here. This all happened on 1 minute candle, but to call that out is these are dip buys. So when a stock has a monster sell-off, you're gonna get a bounce. Sometimes the bounce is big and it continues to run. Sometimes it bounces. And look, and this was choppy and volatile, but you know when you get a sell-off, right? See, you get a bounce. So here it doesn't seem like much, but this was 21.23, and look, it went all the way up to the high of 21.66. Now this is very choppy, but you do get bounces. All right. So remember, when you get big sell-offs, you could look for an opportunity to buy a bounce. Sometimes the bounce is, you know, 10 cents. Sometimes it's $1. It just really depends on the stock and how long it's been moving, and you know, there's, you know, lots of variables that impact that. All right. So with that said, let's build our watch list for Monday. Now there's a lot of plays, so I may not go through every single stock. I probably would just pick like maybe like 10, and then I'll let you guys pick whatever else you find. But my criteria is between 20 cents and $30. All right, minimum 500,000 shares, up 5%. I'm gonna hit scan, and we got 103 stocks, which is insane. I'm not gonna go through 103 stocks because that's just so many stocks. But I'm gonna do a couple. And you know, I'll add a few, and then I'll stop, and then I'll, you know, post my watch list, just to remind you guys where you can find me. 522.17. That's saved my watch list. Now, if you go, I have a Twitter account. All right, here we go. So I have a Twitter account. This is my Twitter account here, watchotrade. And you know, I'm always posting my watch list. I don't really post, like, I just post my watch list. I don't really get involved with like when my entries and exits are. I belong to a group, Bullish Bears, on Facebook. Just find us there. You know, I pinned my, you know, the link to the actual website where they have their stuff, and I'm working on some things on the side that I'll bring, you know, I'll bring to everybody's attention in due time. But if you go to courses and you go to Momentum Trading course, you'll see, you know, this is my course here, all right? And you can watch all my videos on how to do this and how to build. So like, you know, this is how I built my scanner. So this stuff that you see here, all this stuff that you see here, all my scanners and how I build all this stuff, it's in this video right here. Thinkorswim scanner tutorial number 8. But you should go through all these. And then you should, you know, it's a lot of videos, but you should look at my watch list, because I got a whole bunch. So going back, I started this probably in January, I think. You know, since January, I've been building watch lists daily. And I always talk about like entries and exits. I'm telling you, it's not because it's me and I'm trying to boast, but the information is good, man. I'm saving you guys a lot of money and time. If you just took the time to watch these things, you get a lot of value out of them. All right. So with that said, let's go through and build our watch list for Monday. So obviously, you know, you want to look at the biggest percentage gainers, and the biggest percentage gainer was CMLS, 49 cents. This is dog shit. Now, the one thing I will tell you about a lot of these stocks, when you see this dog shit, they move, man. They continue to move. You know, this thing's 29 cents 5 days ago. It's 53 cents. Doesn't that, you know, had a million shares, but not a lot of trades. It's dog shit. I'm not gonna put on my watches, but not for nothing though. Sometimes it's worth taking 1,000 share position. Maybe you put like 50 cents. You see where it's been over the last year. And you know, this stock is very, very low. I mean, it was at 22 cents. You know, it's above the it's above the RSI. It's getting hot, so this is probably gonna pull back. But who knows? Maybe it continues upward. You know, but sometimes they're worth trading. But I never recommend them to anyone. DYN had this big rip, pre-market's high. I'm not gonna put it on my watch list, but it's probably gonna be a good short. DXLG, nope. Obviously GLYC, the monster play, the #1 stock on everybody's watch list. CGI, nope. And why? Because look at this. You don't know what the hell this is gonna do. It's choppy. CALA, collar. Yeah, this is a stock that the momentum on this is pretty amazing. This is a stock that you should always say, okay, this has a lot of swings, so I'm gonna look at the yearly, see where it is. So on the yearly, okay, this was the previous high. It's got a new high now, 1620. So what do I think is gonna happen? Oops. So what do I think is gonna happen? Or whatever, 16. I'm sorry, I went too high. 1620. Ah, fuck. You guys get the point. Anyway, so you're like, all right, so it's a little overextended. And what does this have a history of doing when it gets overextended? It pulls back. So what do you think is going to happen Monday? I'm no genius, but if I was a betting man, Monday, this is going to be a great short opportunity. It's probably going to wash, and you're going to have a great opportunity to short it. But you're going to say, okay, where's its new support level? Its new support level now is 13. It seems to be what's the low of this candle, which is the low of this candle, which is 1353. So, you know, you want to make sure you know what the new low. Ah, crap. Whatever. But you guys get the idea. So, you know, so this is the high, right? This was the previous high, and this is the low. So you know that you got this range to be in. All right. If it breaks below 1511, you know it's going to continue to sell off. All right. But you know where the range is. Now the stock is in the range. So if it starts pulling back, you should wait to see, is it going to go back down to that $13 level? And then if it is, oh, maybe you buy it on the way back up. It swings back up because it kind of trades in this range. It used to be, the old range was about $10, $10.50. But it's been going up. It's $14, came back down to this $12 range, right, on the yearly. And now it's up all the way to 16, right? So it looks like it's, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets back down to this 1453 range and then continues back up. Maybe that's going to be the new support level. We'll see. So this is the kind of stuff you need to look at. This is a 5-day chart. This is the yearly chart right here that I just pulled up. So this is stuff that you kind of got to look at when you look at charts to get a sense of the range. And that's how you can figure out swing trades too. Like, should I swing it? You know, because I notice every time it bounces off this range, it goes back up. You know, shit like that. So that's the kind of stuff. That's how, when I say do your due diligence, that's the kind of stuff you need to be looking at. Okay? So with that said, let's keep looking. HUSA, nope. ARNA, nope. CR, nope. See, it's too choppy. I'm looking at it. How do I know what's going to do? These are dog shit. Like, this is crap. Like, you don't even know. CCCR actually I actually took a short on this, actually at the open. So I'll explain why I did. So I saw it got a lot of volume, pop. Now I know CCR has a habit of popping and pulling back hard. So once it hit this 280, and the next candle, it kind of bounced. You know, it pulled back and it bounced off close to the 90 EMA, and it came back up to about a high 275. I actually took a quick short in this at around 270, and it went all the way as low. And you see how it bounced off the previous day's close, and then it started gapping. So, and then I covered here about 262. So, you know, I made a quick, I took like a, I don't know, 2,000 share position. I made a quick like $200 plus, you know, but it was fast, you know. And then I moved on. I should have watched it. I could have took it long, but I didn't really feel like doing it. I was just, I forgot. I think I traded one other stock. No, I didn't trade it. I think that was the only trade I did Friday. Actually, I got caught up, but it was a quick play for me. All right, so that was a play that I had. Let me remove all this clear. So now, is it going to be on my watch list? That's the question. So, you know, it hit a high of 299 and it came down. You see, it bounced off VWAP at 282. Now, why it's going to be on my watch list? Because let's look at this stock. Look at what it's been doing the last 3 days. Actually, sorry about that. Let's do the 5-day, 5-minute. If you notice, at the open, spike pulls back. Right? This was on the 17th. On the 18th, spike, pulled back, right? And then on Friday, what happened? It had, a quick spike, all right? And then it pulled back, all right? So, then it ripped again. So because it just continuously seems to be spiking at the open and then pulling back, I'm going to watch it because I'm going to look to see it spike, and then I'm probably going to short the pullback if I can find shares to short. All right, simple as that. So you gotta look for the patterns, guys. You gotta look for the patterns. All right. Let me go back today 1 minute. So look at this. All right, look at this. Yeah, I was looking at the stock. Look at this. This thing had no volume, but you see the ascending triangle. Remember when you see this squeeze happening? You see how it's going higher, higher lows, and you see this is the top pulls back. You're gonna get a pop, and look, just like my momentum plays that I talk about. Let me remove drawing. Stay man. Clear drawing set. So when you get that pop, right? If you weren't there for the initial entry, remember generally how most momentum plays work. This is textbook. Gap up, pullback. So this is the volume driving the price of the stock up. This is the little pullback, people taking profit. So this is your right here. Let me remove this. Sorry guys. Undo. Crap. Remove. Damn man, this thing is driving me nuts because it's brand new and I'm not used to it. All right, drawing tools. Okay, so right, this is the gap up, this is the pullback. So this is that bull flag that I'm talking about. You see, bull flag, and it's a clear bull flag. Sometimes it's not as clean looking, but this is a flag pattern. You see, gap up, flag. That's why they call this a flag. It looks like a flag. This is people taking profit. So you know, as soon as that goes, you're gonna get a second push. Second push up was minimal, but it went up from 133 to 145, and it pulled back. Because you know it's another flag pattern, so you're gonna get people that are gonna buy that last push up, and then you get the reversal in the wash. All right. So what happens is when you get that reversal, remember you got the higher day here, right? And then you're gonna see that second candle, lower high. So this is where you short into, right? You can take your short here, risking the high day. You get somewhere executed somewhere in this candle, and then you just take it down. And right here, I probably would have covered. All right, because remember, you know, this doesn't have a lot of volume, but look, it came back up and then it continued to wash. But that is a typical momentum play. And let me tell you something, when this bull market ends, these are the type of plays that you're going to see. You're just going to see a lot less of them, all right? This will be more typical of a spike, and that's what you do, short spikes, all right? Now, that's not going to be on my watch list, but I just wanted to go over it. FRIC, look at this. This thing went up all the way, in 5 minutes, it went from 15 to $16, came all the way back down to 15, and then continued on upward. So if I was watching this stock, right, I'm watching it, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not chasing it because I don't know what the hell's happening, right? Because it's too far away from the 9 EMA. I mean, you could take a trade on if you want to chase it and just say, hey, as long as it doesn't break this trend line, I'm in. You know, and you see right here, it broke the trend, and this is where you would have got out if you decide to chase, which I do not recommend. But if you chase, make sure you have your trend line, all right? And when it breaks the trend, you get out. Now, what I would have done is, you know, I say, hey, fuck this. I'm going to short this. It's much safer. So you see it go up, right? Boom. And you see this is the high day. Look, and it turns right when it breaks 16 bucks, you know, because, you know, psychological resistance barriers are, whole numbers are psychological resistance barriers. Comes down, and you see it formed a lower high. So right here, that would have been my short entry, all right, risking the high of day of 1602. You see I have the sideways consolidation, and it pulls back to VWAP. You get this other lower high, so you could have took another short entry here, and look, consolidated and continue to wash, and look, another lower high. All right, but just know when you get when you get a big wash, you're gonna get a bounce. And if you notice here, let me move this back. Look what happens. So it starts. You see this little starts gapping up, and you see right here, you see this is the high, you get that little squeeze. So this is that Foos 4 thing where you get the little squeeze, where you get the ascending triangle. You got an ascending triangle forming because now you got the lower high. So whenever you see a stock that's selling off, see where the lower high was, put a trend line going across, okay, going across the screen, right? So now you know that's its new resistance point because that's the highest point now at this point. And then look, you start seeing it, and that's why you got the pop. People saw the formation of the pattern, and that's what drove the price of the stock up at that moment. I mean, it continued upward. Look, it bounced off VWAP. That's another entry. So once you see this, you don't have a lot of volume. You got to look at a bigger time frame. So for me, if I was watching this and I saw a stock like this pull back and bounce off VWAP, I would take a trade on this, looking at a 5-minute time frame because there's not a lot of volume at this point, and say, hey, if it dips below VWAP, I'm out, and you could have rolled this up. All right. So that's how you make trades, guys. Watch these videos. This is all the shit I talk about. And all my building my watch list stuff, I always talk about this sort of stuff. If you watch Tim Sykes and all these guys, none of these guys tell you about entry and exits. None of them do. All right, I haven't seen any of these guys. The only person that kind of talks about it a little bit is Ross from Warrior Trading, but the rest of them they don't talk about this shit. You know. All right, so FRAC, yeah, it's gonna be on my watch list because it's volatile. All right, you know, it had a nice move up, it's holding its highs. CLSN, nope. CZZ, this thing moved, but no. FCEL, you know, this thing, look at this. This is at 111. It came down and it, you know, it's choppy, but you know, it moved nicely all the way to 96 cents. It's close to that dollar mark, so I would put it on the watch list just for that, because sometimes when stocks break above $1, they just move just cause. People just buy them just cause they're moving above $1. The stock was 888 a year ago. It's a dud, you know. It went as low as 79 cents, right? So you know, remember what I said, look at the yearly, see where support and resistance is. So support, right, is 80 cents actually. All right, resistance right now is the high of this candle, which is that 96 cent mark, right? 96 cent. So what's the next resistance point? 106. So, you know, if you're going to take a trade on this, you can risk, all right, if it starts moving up, you can risk the high of this, 96, with a goal of at least 106, 10 cents. Now, that could be a lot or a little, all right? But let's say this thing starts ripping, and if it could get past 120, there's no resistance all the way to 150. So, you know, sometimes these stocks move. Let's see what energy is doing Monday. But these are the things that you need to consider when you're making trades, all right? BPMX, this is another stock that was 40 cents. It's up to 50 cents. I've traded this before. You know, sometimes this stock does move. You know, it's had, you know, days where it's gone from the 50-cent mark all the way to the 70-75% mark. Look at this. It's about to break 50. Now, if it can get past this high, which is 51, break 52. If it can get past 62, yo, there's nothing stopping this from going all the way to 80 cents. So I am going to put this on the watch list because I've seen this stock spike before. So keep an eye out on it and see what it does. All right. So let's see. GGB. I don't like it. GRM. GRM is one of these dog shit companies that it does move, man. The range in this stock is pretty nice. You know, it wasn't liquid. But this is one of these stocks that you may think about swing trading, you know, taking, if you could find shares, you know, put 100, you know, 500 shares and just see what it does. I'm not going to put it on my watch list, but, you know, I am. I'm going to put it, even though it has no volume, just for you swing traders, you may want to look at it. AXSM, HTZ, Hertz is one of these stocks that has a lot of range, you know, look at this. So you see what I talked about? Look, this is the high day, right? So you put the trend line there, right? You see it comes down and it starts forming this, if you notice here, right, it comes here and then it bounces up again. So this is the lower high, and if you look at it, you know, it's hard to tell, but it is sort of starting to form like a, you know, it's in this range where it's sort of like forming this little triangle. And you know, it went from red to green, so it broke above the previous day's close price, and it broke above the high day right here, which is 954. Look at the bull flag, and that's really would have been my entry. That would have been like a clean entry for me. Let me clear things. All right. So if you're looking at this is the 1 minute. You know, it's a little choppy on the 1 minute, but on the 5 minute, it's very clear. So right here is high day. Okay. All right, it pulls back, it dips below, so a lot of people are like, oh shit, this is gonna collapse, but it goes back above, forms a lower high. All right, and you could have shorted it right here if you wanted to. I mean, right here, you could have took a short, risking the high day, which is 954, and you would have made some money if you took a short. You could have made like 20 cents shorting it, but it finds its support level here, 927, and then it just moves above VWAP and 13 EMA. And just goes. Now, my entry would have been 954. And right here, look at this bull flag. You know, once you get that flag, let's just remove this. These are people, right here, this point, this is all these people taking their profit. So right here, you see that little flag forming, right? So this is the bull flag that I talked about. So when you know you get that, you're going to get a push. And this is why the volume came in. People saw the flag pattern forming on the 5, and you saw it on the 1 minute too. But on the 5 minute, you see on the 1 minute, you're getting that sideways consolidation where on the 1 minute, it looks a little different. This is why time frames matter. So let me clear all this. On the 1 minute, let me just move back a little bit. On the 1 minute, look what's happening, right? So this is higher day, right? And then it's starting to get that little pattern here. So you can see how it's in that channel, and you see, wow, it forms that ascending triangle where it pops. Here you see just a nice easy bull flag on the 5 minute pop. Look at this, bull flag pop, bull flag pop. You see, and it kind of washed, but it kept going up, so it's up over $10. And then what you do is, you see where it is on the yearly. So on the yearly, this thing is way low, way down. So look at this, RSI is below 30, so it's cheap right now, the stock. So it has some range, it can get up to about 1075. So let's put it on the watch list. Maybe Monday this continues up to the 1070 area. Why do I say that? Because look at this. This is the high it's at $10 now, but its next resistance point on the daily on the high is 1072. So maybe it's possible. We'll see. So and the RSI is below 30. So technically it's oversold. All right. So all right. So let's continue on. All right. So EBR, nope. CBIO, nope. CBI. Look at this. This thing went from pre-market from 19 all the way to 21, and it's like sideways. So at this point, look at this. It's like you're not sure what it's gonna do. It seems like 2078 seems to be a support level at this point. So it's in this channel. We'll see what happens. Maybe if you see it starts gapping up, it may break below it. But if it breaks below this, maybe it breaks short. I'll put it on the watch list so you guys can take a look. It's a little more expensive, but who cares? Even if you get 100 shares, look at the range these stocks move in. You can make a few hundred. Win's a win in my book. CBD, nope. HK moved nicely. Look at that. And it got valued 3 million shares, 3.3 million shares. So yeah, we'll put it on the watch list. So not because this video's been pretty long, I don't want to go too crazy with it. I'll post my watch list. But there's another stock. I like to look for stocks that have these ranges that hold their highs, with the expectation that people are, they're gonna move, so you can make trades on it. All right, AVEO, FTK. Look at this. Went from 972 to 1045. Doesn't have a lot of, unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of volume though. I'm gonna skip it. BBSI, BSBR, Sand ITUB, CRE. Look at this. There's a lot of volume, 2.5 million shares, all the way up to $23. And then look at this, it washed. I love looking at stocks like this. Pouring into the close, like when a stock moves, I just like watch it like a freaking lion looking for its food. And I wait for that high and I wait for that wash. Because when a stock goes has this, it's usually gonna wash. And look at this, you could have just took this short, Right here, it could have been your entry. If you're watching this, just didn't have a lot of volume at the end of the day, but enough where you could have, got in right here and just shorted this. Oops, shorted that all the way back down. So CREE will go on the watch list. And remember, always make sure, see where it's been over the last year, what's the range, it's way over, I'm sorry. Look at this. Look at this. This guy has no resistance. This stock has no resistance all the way to $24. So this stock, almost $25 actually. So this stock has the chance to keep going. So that's why it's important to know, to take a look at what the stock has done over the last year. All right. HOS, no, too choppy. ARCO, no. FBR, yeah, look, nice range. And look at this. See, look, towards the end of the day, what time is this? 2:15. That reversal happens, and then you get that wash out. And that doesn't mean that Monday doesn't continue upward. It just means people are taking their profit. That's all that is. People just got in early and they're just taking their profit, or they might have been somewhere over here and they're taking their profit. GOL goes up, down, and up. I mean, if you could get past 12.79, there's nothing stopping this from $15. So I'll put on the watch list for these swing traders, especially ATI rip. Look at this. This thing had a monster move, 15 to 16, 15. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on the watch list. Washed at the end of the day, but it's still moving. So I got a few stocks. I'll keep looking. EPE, no volume. CNHI, BLPA, BRS. A little choppy. Not a no volume. AMX. Yeah, this is that. Wow, look at this. I think it's one of those Brazilian stocks. I'm not sure, but I'll put it on the watch list. CRC. Yeah, this thing had a nice move. I mean, a little choppy, you know, from 12 to 1286, back down. Now it's back in this range. I'll leave it alone. BBD. Nah, CYH, yeah. This is a stock that I've traded several times. It moves in a nice range. It'll be a good stock probably to trade on Monday. All right, so these are the stocks on our watch list. A lot of these are more expensive. Now I'll continue to look to see if I find a couple of others that I'll put on my actual post to my Twitter, and make sure subscribe to my QHC. That was another one that, and it's QHC. We'll put that on the watch list too. Make sure that you subscribe to my CPN. Look at this, another nice one. CPN 8, yeah, CPN. We'll put that on the watch list too. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right. Let me just go. Oops. Watchotrade. Yeah, you see, Bing sucks. You go to Google, and Google finds everything. You just type my name. Here's my Twitter. Here's my YouTube. Alright, so just make sure you go to my YouTube, hit that subscribe button, guys. I got some cool things coming in the future too, so be on the lookout. But I mean, the value I provide, I should have 1 million followers. Not to sound cocky, but I give you all this shit free, and it's much better than anything that anybody at Food Sykes and all these guys would give you. Trust me when I'm telling you that. Alright, folks, so enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hit me up if you got any questions. Check me out. I'm on Bullish Bears. Facebook, subscribe, and have a great weekend.